we decided to go out to LA for the first riding trip?
First off, it's LA. It's simple. There's a lot of great creative people out there. Steve originally, I want to say it was like May. It was just this general conversation we were having, like, I want to do an LA trip. We should go out there and write some songs. And I think like a month or two went by and it was just like, all right, let's just do a camp. Let's get everyone out there. The basic vibe for N43 was let's take our entire team and just see what we can do out there. We've all been out there before for the most part, so it was more so a lot of character building and just seeing what we get from it. Talk about a bit of the drive to LA, how that was.
Oh man, well, we broke down. I had this van. It was like a 12-passenger van. It was kind of, you didn't know what was gonna happen. For a second, the acceleration wasn't working. We're going up hills. People are flying past us. We're going like 30 miles an hour.
We had left Milwaukee. There was a cat that was living in the engine block that I didn't know about. And I think this cat unplugged one of the cylinder wires. So we were only driving with, I'd say like 40% engine power, maybe even 20 at times. So it was one of the most stressful, close to God moments you can ever get, is driving through the Rocky Mountains, going 25 miles an hour while everybody's just flying by you like semis and they can't stop. So that was super stressful. We were thinking about selling the van at points. We pulled off in Beaver, Utah. And luckily we had a guy, I can't think of the name of the shop anymore, but this guy saved us like big time.
Some guy just did it for like $25 and a couple beers. He just like plugged it right back in. That was dope. But it took us like 30 hours to get to that point. Added like an extra 8. So that was cool.
The van is to this day is running like a champion and it's killing the game. So that was insane. Just the drive there was incredibly stressful.
Talk about a bit of the vibe when we pulled up and kind of that area.
West Hollywood. That was my first time in that area. It was a popping little spot. The Roxy's was over there, iconic little music venue, and we were it was perfect because we were like right in the mix, but we were like ducked off just a little bit behind the music venue. So
first thought was just like, wow, we're here. We made it. Like after the trial and tribulation of having that ride out.
My first initial thought of the area was, holy cow, we're like right in the middle of everything. Walking into the Airbnb, initial thought, it was dope, but there was no kitchen. And I was thinking about how 10 plus dudes are gonna survive with zero kitchen in that part of town for 10 days or whatever, a week or whatever we were there for. I was kind of stressed out, but then we made it work and it worked out really well. You look at like your front yard is essentially the Roxy and Rainbow Room and all these iconic venues. It was amazingly, it was like super inspiring, and it was just amazing to be there.
Were there any tough moments during the trip for you, just kind of in general after getting there?
I think when you just realize you kind of at a point where I just realized I was giving everything I had, and it was kind of weighing on me a little bit for a second because it's just been some rough moments and some rough patches, and everything kind of hit me when I was in that position for a minute, and then I snapped out of it, and I was ready to go.
Were there any set moments that made you feel that way that you can remember specifically?
Just not having, all the money and the things that to do certain things that I thought I needed to do. It was a mindset though. I really didn't need it.
Overwhelmed, maybe like just the first or second day, just because our Airbnb wasn't huge. It's LA and we have an awesome spot, but like also with having such an awesome spot, sometimes you kind of like, we had to limit it somewhat, and we wanted to work with like, 50 people at once if we could, but at the same time, sometimes hearing like that bleed in the other room of like someone working on something would almost inspire what we were doing in there, and kind of almost like a friendly competition, I guess. There's so many different writers and everyone's got this juice going over here and you got these people on something over here, and it just, you kind of feed off of that from each other and it just amplifies, if you will. So I guess two sides of the same coin.
Well, you were working with Steve a lot. Were there any moments in terms of like being, closed in a room with some of the same people or same person so often? Any like funny,
Just
funny
like
things?
classic stuff of when you know someone for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I live with the guy. I've been in so many projects with the guy. We've got we know each other exactly like the back of our hands. So it's sometimes when we're bored, we like to make each other tick, I guess. I don't know. You do what you do to keep yourself entertained sometimes, especially like in the van or whatever you gotta do to keep each other awake or whatever. I think there's actually a moment that we caught on film where we were all trying to like communicate this one idea. Like it was a very technical, like, okay, you got to move this like so many frames over, and for whatever reason, like the communication wasn't there. And that's gonna happen when there's so many ideas and stuff going on. So it was no malice, but like we were kind of like both getting like, well, dude, I'm saying this, and like, okay, I understand, but like I'm saying this, and I think Steve gives a little smirk, and it was just a perfect cap to that moment. Like, yep, it's part of the process, I guess.
I think that the most negative part of the trip was me overcoming anxiety is a big part of it. That's just a personal thing. There was no situation where I was like, this is a really bad situation. It was, you always kind of constantly faced with your, daily struggles of like, what can I do to make this the best? Or like, well, I suck at this, I gotta not suck today. And that was probably my main thing, was just always having to be on point, and that's the biggest struggle. But I think that we approached it well, and I got what I needed to get done, and I did the best I possibly could there. But main struggle is, I guess, dealing with a lot of different personality and also having to create something together. And that's not always easy with a group of people you've never met. We were lucky and blessed that we got to write with as many cool people as we did, and even if it was hard that day to write or there was challenges, we were able to succeed and come out with great songs. So that was probably the most challenging. That, and also getting through the drive, just not dying on the way to California before we even started. So
Talk about the songs that you wrote.
Well, my favorite one was Jumanji. Honestly, I was dodging that beat like for a whole week, and I was in the car. I just kept skipping over it, and like it was the day before I left, and I can remember I was in the room. I'm playing some of the beats, and then for some reason I was like, man, I want to hit this beat. My girl's in the corner, and just sitting there. I'm playing the beat. I'm just going over it. I'm singing. When I finished, we looked at each other like just goosebumps, like pow.
Jumanji with Sincere was, that happened pretty naturally. Like, he had this idea before we went out. Him and I were just kind of riffing off of this track that Steven had made, and it was titled Jumanji, and he totally, just being sincere, he can take like any word and he'll just run with it and make like a whole world and story around this thing, which is one of the many reasons I love working with him. He just like had this idea and this universe around like Jumanji, not like in the movie sense, just like, you'll have to listen to the song for yourself, but it just really came together, especially once we were out there and the juices were flowing. And yeah, we recorded the demo. The take was so good that we've even used like parts of that from the house, and we've even done that with some of the other tracks too.
I knew I had like the whole melody and everything down packed, so when I got out to LA, I just knew for a fact that I needed that vibe. You know what I'm saying? There was something about being in the place and in the moment. And when I got out there, I was able to get them words together. They came together, and I think everybody else would agree that it was like one of their favorites as well too. Something that stuck in their mind. So you only hit me when she horny. See all the sides that you do not see. Young savage did train to stay hungry. Beat it to watch the she out like Jumanji. I got a lie. Now she's screaming now. Oh, now she's screaming out. Now she's screaming loud. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, we wrote some hits. I don't know if you guys are ready. Yeah, so I linked up with a couple different producers. Verscati, that's how you say it? Verscati, yeah. Verscati, he's super dope. Tippy, Schmarks, and Savvy. We came up with a banger. We wrote a song called Rose. I'm excited to see, what the future holds for that song. We did Rewind.
She love to make you rewind, yeah. Say I love your taste and your kind, yeah.
Definitely, it was definitely a new sound, and that's kind of what I wanted. Like, I've been working out here down in Milwaukee with my guy B. Scott for a while. We've been writing a lot of songs together, Up to Par, Heating Up, Check Clear. We were in Houston doing some writing sessions together. So going to LA, I really, I was looking forward to working with some other, producers and writers that I was unfamiliar with, just because you never know what you're going to come up with. So we linked up and kind of found a different little sound out there. So I'm excited.
Corey did an awesome song with Smarks and Savvy called Rose, and it's got a different vibe for Corey, I would say. So
Hey, you know that I want you. I said don't play, girl, you know you want to. So let's set it
what
up.
was your initial reaction when M43 Records talked about this idea?
I don't know. I feel like I didn't really know what to expect. They were like, yeah, let's go out to LA and do a writing camp. You know, like I said, I'd never been a part of one of those. So after everybody started talking about it, like, I started getting excited, and it was definitely everything I thought it was gonna be. We linked up with some super dope people that I still talk to now. We're going back and forth. So it was definitely, you guys did your thing. Picking good candidates. That was the biggest thing. Shout out Tom for picking good candidates, because I know there was a lot of people trying to get in that camp, and we could have, you know, picked anybody, but the ones you picked were the right people. They had that bounce.
You have to really understand people, and it's much of like a social skills, and like it's as it is, you know, writing. It's just kind of working, seeing how other people work, and like just make sure that you're serving the song at the end of the day to make it as best as it can be. Working with, I'd say, you know, 2 groups of 4 or whatever it was at times, or like 3 groups of 3, or whoever was writing. The goal is to make sure that everybody feels good about the song and their ideas are being heard and communicated in the song. It's hard when you're working with that many people to do that and make sure that everybody's included, but that's something that we strive for when we're writing songs, is to really include everybody's ideas as much as we can, and then try to get those feelings out in the song. It can be tough when you have 4 or 5 people in the room writing. I felt we did a great job at that. It was just really natural and organic, and everything felt good. But it can be a challenge, and at times, it was overwhelming. But you fight through it, and you get the songs done, and yeah, it was cool.
Is that something you think that we'll continue to do in the future in other cities?
Yeah, I'd love for Nick and I to schedule some other things, whether it be even like Miami or Nashville's an obvious one, but it'd be cool to go to some obscure places where there is still a scene. Houston, Corey's been down there a couple times. Yeah, no, we're definitely going to be. Even in Milwaukee, I think it'd be cool to be doing more writing camps. It's just about getting the people together.